On a Friday evening in April of 1945, 5 days after British troops first entered the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, a reporter for BBC Radio captured a group of Jewish survivors singing Hatikva. They were taking part in an open-air service led by a Welsh army chaplain, the Reverend Leslie Harmond, who had spent the past days saying Kaddish over mass graves overflowing with tangled corpses. In his report, the journalist described the scene as follows. Thousands of bodies had been cleared, but there were still thousands more lying around. People lying down and dying in broad daylight in front of our eyes. This, he says, was the background to the open-air Jewish service. During the service, the few hundred surviving Jewish people who gathered together were sobbing openly, with joy at their liberation and with sorrow of the memory of their parents and brothers and sisters that had been taken from them, gassed and burned. These people knew they were being recorded. They wanted the world to hear their voice. They made a tremendous effort which quite exhausted them. In the haunting recording of that service, of their singing, available still on YouTube, you can hear the exhaustion in the frayed first notes of the hymn that had become the not as yet an anthem of the Jewish people. Kol od balevav. As long as in the heart within the Jewish soul yearns and the eye gazes east towards Zion, our hope is not lost. The opening notes of that group of survivors in Bergen-Belsen rose unsteadily, as if the tune were dragging itself up from the ground, from the depths of their souls, tremulous and uneven. One woman's voice emerges, and on the words Nefesh Yehudi, Jewish soul, she accentuates the beginning of each syllable, which has the double effect of rallying the other singers around a clear beat, an assertion of their survival in a place where the evidence to the contrary could be measured in the mounds of bodies and discarded shoes. An assertion of the survival of the Jewish soul. Today, a full year since the worst acts of human brutality and hatred against Jews since the days of the Shoah, since that day that changed our world forever, we still live in the aftermath of that terrible day. We live it in the families of those whose loved ones were killed and those families whose loved ones are still held captive. We live it in the families of the soldiers who have fallen fighting in defense of our ancestral homeland. We live it in the anti-Semitism that has emerged brazenly throughout the world in the wake of October 7th. But like our ancestors, we remain a people with the power to stand up again and again, to fight and to survive, to heal and to rebuild, to respond to hatred with hope. We have not, will not, nor ever will abandon our deepest longing and hope for peace, our belief that a better world is possible. For us as Jews, expressions of hope are not mere longings for the future or even prayers before the Holy One. They are an action plan for building a world of tomorrows in which we all wish to and deserve to reside. So we conclude our evening together, as we rise as able, joining together in the words of Hatikvah, our enduring expression of hope for the future.